Welcome back, everyone. New School Sensei. I'm your host, Lance Douglas. We've got Ken, the Pod Track King, loves technology, loves everything about it. And we have Cheyne McMahon. So one of the OGs in Australian karate. Looking sharp. The hair's looking good, so I appreciate that.
Thanks, mate. Yep, still got it.
I know from my perspective, to be honest, boys, I'm still in pajamas. I spent an hour trying to get this thing to work, couldn't get it working. So this is what I look like, pajamas. This is what I'm wearing a bed because it's cold here in Melbourne. So Cheyne, you always do a lot of good posts on Facebook. So for the younger generation, maybe they're not on Facebook, maybe they're on Snapchat. To be honest, I don't even know what social media platforms they're on. But I don't really care. Let's worry about us, everyone who's over 35, probably with kids. That's our target market. That's the only people that listen to this podcast.
Yeah.
So let's cater to those guys.
Well, when you look at Facebook, right? Like we all do Facebook ads. Soon, the parents that we are going to be targeting are not going to be on Facebook. They're 20 at the moment, 25, and in 10 years' time, we have to evolve to the next platform. Otherwise, we'll be catering to grandmas and grandpas.
Wow, I never thought about that perspective.
Old school, yeah, Lance? Hey, Lance, we'll probably go back to old school marketing, yeah?
Jeez, got to keep up with all the new guys. Everything. There you go.
Flyers and handouts.
New school sensei, but old school marketing.
Yeah.
There you go. So Cheyne, we wanted to get you on. You always post really good stuff on Facebook. So one of your more recent posts, you were talking about the difference between coaching kids karate versus adults karate. So Ken, talk us through what sparked your interest in this post.
Well, I think the first thing I saw was 50 likes and about 10 people commenting on it. So it looked like it definitely, there was quite a few people saw it. I think it's because I never really thought about it the way that Cheyne thinks about it. So I'm probably guilty of teaching adults classes similar to kids classes. And I guess it's sort of like a mindset shift. And it could be the reason why I do prefer to teach kids. You know, like that's my passion, teaching kids. But I think maybe if I change the way that I teach adults, I might find more of a passion to teach adults too. You know, so I just thought it was a bit of a mindset shift. And I think judging by the success of the post, there's probably a bit of a shift in the mindset, or maybe a lot of people were sort of saying, yeah, I think the same thing. That was a reason, to be honest.
Yeah.
So maybe, Cheyne, do you want to just want to talk about the post in, as a whole, I guess?
Yeah, sure. Look, I suppose the intention of the post was originally for my instructors, and then I just started writing it out maybe a couple of weeks ago, and then yes, it did go through ChatGPT.
You're not using ChatGPT?
100%. Like I can't write like that normally, so when ChatGPT, then I fix it up, back to ChatGPT, back to me, back to ChatGPT, right? And then because it chooses words that I wouldn't use.
That's why you sound like a scholar when you write. Wowee.
Mate, I'm from Brisbane, and I teach martial arts for a living. I'm no rocket surgeon, but I think when you're writing it out, it just helps you structure it, and it puts your thoughts into a little bit structured, more of your thoughts. But basically, when I watch a lot of karate videos that get uploaded, or watching YouTube Sensei a lot, I just see a lot of adults doing kids-based karate, and what it boils down to is when karate went from Okinawa to Japan, it was kids karate that was exported to Japan. So if you go back and have a look at a little bit of the history of it, the karate that was taught is kids karate, so punches to the body. So the originally it'd be fingers to the eyeballs, headbutts, elbows, takedowns, throws, all of that cool stuff was taken out and repackaged for the general public and for kids, basically for kids karate. And then when that went to Japan, it went into the universities. And then all of a sudden, adults, 18, 19, 20-year-olds are learning kids-based karate and packaged as self-defense. And then that was exported to the world. And it's only recently, maybe the last 20 or 30 years, that people have been backtracking, trying to find out, why do we block to the body? Why are we doing an inside block to the body, and why are we punching to the body? And why are the applications for kata all based on stepping forward and punching chudan, whereas really nobody's going to do that outside of a karate dojo. So I just see a lot of adults learning sports karate and kids karate, but packaged as adult karate. And so the way that martial arts has evolved, all you have to look at is the UFC, what works, what doesn't work, what is real and what isn't real. And karate gets frowned upon because of kids karate being taught to adults. So I think you need to sort of separate what you're teaching for kids and what you're teaching for adults, like the techniques, the kata, the kumite, that sort of stuff. So yeah, that's really all I was just talking about in that post.
Yeah, that's awesome. It's a good like paradigm shift, because I know previously I was guilty of it. Maybe 10 years running adults classes, and for sparring it'd be the sports karate sparring, so bouncing, fast movements, in and out.
Yep.
And just to be realistic, like if you've got someone who's new to the sport, maybe he's 40, he's watched a bit of Cobra Kai, he hasn't played any type of sport since he played footy as a 20-year-old.
Yeah.
So that leg dexterity, that fast twitch movement, it's not going to happen.
Yeah, sparring, especially sparring, and for us, we've all come through like the WKF style kumite, and that people don't want to be doing that as a 40-year-old, because it's taxing, it's tiring. As a 40-year-old, I don't do it anymore. It's just too hard on the body, and it's not. Understanding distance and control, in and out, yeah, it's fantastic for that, but it doesn't work for realistic combat. And I think when people join a karate dojo, one of the first things they want to learn is self-defense. And yes, it does teach how to control your distance and your partner's distance or your opponent's distance, but the distance is wrong again. So this sparring aspect, it doesn't allow leg kicks and doesn't allow throws, grappling when you're in close. So there's only one distance, which is long. There's no medium or close distance for that sparring.
Run us through how your current lesson plan looks like for your adults class. That'd be interesting to hear.
Okay, no worries. Actually, I've got one. Oh, I did have one just there, but that's okay. Our lesson plan. So our syllabus for our adults is very different to the kids. So the adult syllabus contains throws, joint locks, takedowns, body conditioning, kumigata drills, which are kind of like a bunkai. So we have different kumigata drills. I've just lost you. I don't know where I am. Hang on, sorry guys. Are you still there?
Yeah, no, it's all good. So all this type of stuff, is this taken from more Okinawan style karate?
Yeah. So Okinawan karate. Well, there's only one karate. I don't like saying Okinawan karate and Japanese karate because it's just one. There's only one karate, right? But it's the influence of your sensei and your sensei. So if you are doing a shitoru style or a shotokano style, then generally that karate has been watered down in Japan and exported. Whereas Okinawan karate has also been watered down with that. However, there's kobudo, there's weapons, and there's more body conditioning and stuff like that. So it's a little bit less kids karate, whereas the Japanese Shotokan and Shitoru, Wadoru, those ones who are influenced from Japanese martial arts has less of the traditionally less of close quarter. There's less takedowns, less throws, less, except for maybe Wadoru, which has a lot of jiu-jitsu, Japanese jiu-jitsu in it. A lot of the other guys are traditionally longer distance and don't contain close quarter stuff. That's not to say that dojo don't teach it, but traditionally that is not in the syllabus because it was, again, based on physical education karate, sports karate for kids. So yes, our adult syllabus and our kids syllabus, adult syllabus is based more on close quarter self-defense, and kids syllabus is based more on sports karate, which could be considered traditional karate, and the adult karate is maybe considered old style karate. What's the difference? I don't know, but you can just label them that to make it easy. So with the adult syllabus, I don't teach Pinan kata or Heian kata or Gekisai kata. Those kata. Our first kata is Naifanchi or Naihanchi. So for black belt, for our adult karate, we have 2 karate kata and 1 kobudo kata. So 2 karate kata and only 1 kobudo. Whereas the kids, there's like 5 or 6 pinan kata. So there's a lot more kata for kids, less kata for adults.
Really, it's only the 3. The only 3. So they could train for 10 years
Yep.
and just learn those 3 katas.
Well, that's for sure done. Just for
Okay.
just for first dan.
Yep.
And then we have so in our karate system, in our adult system, we have 6 kata, only 6 kata. And I
Wow.
base those kata on Itosu's kata and also my sensei's favorite kata, and then my favorite kata. But realistically, I only really practice myself 3 kata. All the other ones I teach, and I do train them, but I really only practice Naifanchi, Passai, and Koshoku. They're my 3 core kata because those kata kind of make up our system of karate.
Yeah, fair enough.
So
yeah, like Lance could probably attest to this. We just graded to 4th dan. How many katas did we have to practice, Lance? Do you want to rattle them off?
Paul, we had a lot of katas. So we had you have 10 katas just for the shodan, and then we had to do another, I feel like it was another 6 or 7 on top of that.
Mm.
So it was over 16 katas.
Yeah.
So it's a lot of memorization. So it sounds like with your style, more Okinawan, in the Thai martial arts, so they've got Muay Thai, and then they call the martial arts before that the ancient martial arts. So it sounds like you could, if you want to categorize it, Okinawan style could be more ancient martial arts, which sounds like with our Shotokan, so we've got the martial side, so a little bit of fighting, but also the art side, which we do a lot of kata.
Yep.
Whilst your style sounds like maybe your split would be, 70, it sounds like about 75% would be the martial, the fighting, and then 25% the arts. Would that be roughly a good, I guess, explanation?
Well, I see kata as the martial, as the combat, and less of the art. Yeah. So I suppose like we don't have that many kata, but we have lots of partner drills and lots of that sort of stuff that makes up the makes up like the majority of a syllabus. Kata is a small part, where I think in most karate clubs, kata makes up a big part. Whereas for us, it's the performance of the kata is smaller, but knowing how to apply that kata is in a 2-person set. We probably do more of that. Whereas the kids, it's majority kata. It's more kata than it is the other stuff. So as the kata kihan, kumite kihon, all of those sorts of things. But with adult karate, if we're talking about kata kihon or the fundamental movements, everybody associates the kihon with stepping forward, doing punch, 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 inside block, outside block, front kick, reverse punch. We don't do any of those, so because that's already in kata. So otherwise, you're just repeating the kata twice. That's where I look at it. So instead of using that 10 minutes of practicing those kihon movements, instead we do takedowns, or we might do elbows, or we might do switch knees, switch kicks, those sorts of things, which are definitely not Okinawan based, right? So, but with the kids, we do the kihon movements, but we pull apart. So if we want to work on the kids' inside block, for example, we might just do like 10 on the spot just to learn it, and then we take a section of the kata which has an inside block, and then we repeat that again and again and again and again. So that way it's functional in the kata and not just stepping forward doing inside block, outside block, reverse punch, which is in no kata. So I'd rather save that time and use it in the kata, so we can practice that kata movement.
That sounds very interesting. Yeah, Lance.
Yeah, I guess for us, kata is purely for the art. We see it as a cultural artifact where you're preserving the culture. So it's good that we got some differences, because then we can kind of push back and have a little bit, a bit more of a discussion. While
But if
Shane, you're using kata as like the foundation of your self-defense, if I'm getting that correct.
Yeah, because I use it also as a way to preserve the culture. But I want to backtrack to the older kata, not the newer kata. And if I'm going to do newer kata, I want to find out why it was changed. I have no problem with changing kata if it's got a great reason. But when you're looking at kata, a lot of kata is based on right side, not left, not right and left, with exceptions of the pinan kata or the heian kata in naifanchi or teki or nahanchi. Everything else is geared around having that right leg forward. So lately, I've been experimenting and doing a lot of left side. So with our weapons program, we do right and left side just to even it up, because we are Kobudo is predominantly right-handed, probably based on sword work, which is always right side. It's never left side. If you're doing Iedo, Kendo, Kenjutsu, that sort of thing, it's always right-handed. And then that's probably based, so the Kobudo is probably based on that, but we don't live in that period any longer. So I want people to be able to do both right and left. So with the preserving kata is one thing, but what are you preserving it for? What is the purpose of preserving it? So for us, the purpose of preserving the kata is for self-defense and having. So with our kumigata drills, for example, it's not step back and block and punch. It's more fundamentals, more principle based. So if somebody grabs you, it's your fingers to the eyes, and as soon as my fingers go into your eyeballs, then I slip behind and grab grab the back of your head. But if I've poked you in the eyes and you've moved back, then I apply a straight punch because the distance is different. So we practice things like that. And when I'm in closer after my elbow, what leg do they have forward? Do they have their left leg forward? And if it's that way, if their left leg is forward, then I throw them over the left leg. If their right leg is forward, then I throw them over their right leg. If they have no leg forward, then I choose my stronger side, which is going to be my right side because I'm a right-hander. Boom, that way. So those sorts of principles. So we just practice those again and again and again. And after a while, you don't notice what leg they've got forward intentionally, you just sort of notice what leg they've got forward, bang. Because if I try to throw the person, if they've got the left leg forward and I try to throw them, in a head twist, they can post out with their right leg, and then all of a sudden I don't have it's not as easy. I can still do it, but it's just easier for me to always practice over that side because there's no way for them to post out. They can't post out with their left leg. So
There you go. That's it's essentially it's kind of like the opposite to what me and Ken do. Because with Kata, our reason for preserving the culture is because we've had so many positive experiences traveling to Japan, and from our perspective, even though we're half Asian, but we're not Japanese, so from our perspective, Japanese culture, awesome things. So that respect they have for each other and for the dojo. That's something that we find with Kata that helps to preserve.
Yep.
Also, the discipline, because sometimes it's hard to do Kata, but you still got to persevere.
Yeah.
And then the last one, that principle of Kaizen, so constant improvement. So when you're doing the Kata, you're always trying to get a little bit better. And then we kind of feel if we didn't have the Kata, it'd be hard for us to keep that connection to those principles in Japanese culture.
Yeah. Well, if like they are valid reason, very valid reasons, and I think when you're kata practicing kata has many benefits, right? Not just combat. I like to practice kata too, but for my adults to keep adults active and interested in karate, I think less is more. Kids, yes, definitely lots of kata. It's great for coordination, fitness, and again preserving something, right? Something older than cricket. And maybe it's not older than cricket, but something that has a bit of tradition. So I mean, like if you look at Japanese karate, if you want to call it that, it's only 100 years old. It was exported in 1922, so it's 103 years old as we are now. But whereas cricket is probably 200 plus years old. But anyway, but you're preserving a tradition, that something that you love as well, and like maybe you're wanting to leave a legacy. But when I'm teaching adults, I want them to be really invested into the history of karate. So we talk I talk a lot about history within the class. You know, the evolution from let's say the evolution of Tang Sudo, or the evolution of Taekwondo, or the evolution of Shotokan, or something like that. I will talk about it, and if I don't know if somebody asks a question and I don't know the answer, then I'll go back and try to find the answer because I really enjoy it. And the post started from somebody asking a question, and so for me, that's my passion. And other people, so when people from a different dojo who trained come and join my dojo, maybe they would prefer the practice of Kihon and Kata Kihon and lots of kata. Maybe they wouldn't. Maybe they don't like how the close quarter stuff that we do. Maybe it's too hard for them, which is totally fine. I understand, and I have done that karate before, but it just doesn't interest me any longer. I want the close in dirty stuff, and I want to know why we do this and that sort of stuff.
Very cool.
Let's. Ken, there you go.
Yeah, so since we're on the topic of kids versus adults, I thought it'd be cool, Lance, if you can talk about an example lesson plan of a kids class. Let's just say like a juniors class. So they're all 7 and 8, 9, all that sort of stuff, versus our adults class. We go kids versus adults. If you do it, Lance, and then if Cheyne, if you could do the same thing, and then we could sort of compare how. And also, I think it'd be great for all the people at home to sort of hear how we structure our classes, kids versus adults.
Yep.
Yeah, that's a great question. I guess for me, even though I'm not an older coach, I do feel older. So I'm always I've got a little less energy than I used to. So all my lesson plans are based on me using as little energy as possible in the class. So you're not going to see me running around chasing kids like back in the old days, putting on a show, putting on a performance. Ain't going to happen. So when I run the kids class, typically I start with a very regimented warm up. So we get them on this. I like to keep them on the spots, and that's purely just to keep them focused. So we'll do some conditioning on the spots. Then we'll do some sort of partner game. So it might be a wheelbarrow, it might be a piggyback. And I find getting them with a partner, it's hard to muck around. Because if you muck around doing a wheelbarrow, you're going to drop your mate. Or if you're mucking around with a piggyback, you're going to, you get hurt. So I find that type of stuff works well. Next part of the class. So we're in week 5. So we're doing pads and self-defense first. Then we finish the class with kata and then endgame. So the reason is because start of the term, when we have a lot of new students, they don't want to be doing, the start of the class kata. So that's why we switched it. But then close to the gradings, we will go back to kata, pad work, self-defense. So that's the lesson plan. And for our kids, so we're very, very different, Cheyne, which is cool. We do, for self-defense, we do pretty much no technique. It's all games-based. And they get their strategies and techniques through the game. So I think we talked about it last time. So what I did on last week, we call it a padlock game. So both players start on the knees, and you start with a one-arm bear hug. If your partner escapes easily, you can lock your grip. So once they can escape, then they just swap positions. And that was our bear hug defense game. Now, for the adults, to be fair, I haven't run an adults class for a while. So this lesson plan will be from, say, 5-10 years ago, but I think it still holds true. For the adult, no, I think it would, the structure would be the same, but obviously the games and drills would be different. For my adults class 5-10 years ago, I always started with a game. And the reason was because my thoughts were, you're an adult, you might have come from your 9 to 5, maybe on the way to karate, your kid's been bickering, maybe your wife's been in your ear, maybe that recent rate cut didn't help you with your home loan repayment. So so getting into the class, if we can get them to switch on as soon as possible, and often with a game, maybe it might be a shoulder tag, it might be a noodle tiggy, could be anything. And typically the game's always partner based. Then I would run through Kihon Kata. And then once I hit that half-hour mark, straight into self-defense pad work sparring. And then ending the class with another game. I always thought that with the adults, they need the most games. Because for them, they don't get much fun during their week. As we all know, being parents, it's a rough gig. I had my kid, he's sick, he's waking up, he's waking me up. So I want to make that hour as, obviously I want him sweating, but I also want him smiling. So that's kind of how, so that's kind of how we run it.
And satisfied?
Yeah, I like it. You got to use a triplet, yeah? So yeah, smiling, sweating, and satisfied. Bang, bang.
Yeah. Yeah, look, I don't think ours is much different. So for my kids, for example, I just pulled up the what we do with the kids is we break it up into, we have fun, beginner, intermediate, and advanced classes. We don't do a rotating syllabus. So it would be Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, Saturday. So Monday, Tuesday would be kata. Wednesday, Thursday would be kumite, and Friday, Saturday would be self-defense / pads. Very similar. And then the week after, Monday, Tuesday would be kata, so kumite, and just et cetera, because what we found is a lot of kids are coming Monday, Wednesday, Saturday, Tuesday, Thursday, Friday. So that way, if you're coming Monday and Tuesday, which I don't think we have any, you are doing the same class, but a lot of kids have basketball, cricket, soccer, gymnastics, whatever in between. So that way we just sort of mix it out. And I don't think we'd be doing much different either in the kids' classes, because we don't play it's not a game as such, but it's an activity where you're like a wheelbarrow or we do a lot of ladder drills with the kids as well, and throwing tennis balls, getting the hand-eye coordination going, stuff like that, as a warm-up. And then we go into kata and then break it up like that. For the adults, it's a little different, but we still play a game as a warm up, because just like you said, adults get bored and they want to do something different. So we do a warm up game, would be kind of like what we do with the kids. Something where we use tennis balls, or we do ladder drills, or we touch the we try and touch the shoulders, knees, kumite style, just something different. So like running in circles is boring to me, so I don't want to do that. Or we do sprints, or push-ups and run, and those sorts of things. So trying to do something different rather than just laps. If you're doing laps, you're in your head about what happened at work or the sick kid. But when you've got to do something where you've got to use your hands and eyes, and your feet, you've got to concentrate on that. We do a lot of partner work as well, for that reason as well. But for the adults, so we have fundamentals and we have advanced classes. So fundamentals are basics, so from white belt up to green belt, up to blue belt. So that would be maybe zero training up to 2 years of training. So anybody can train in it, but the class is focused on the fundamental techniques. So for tonight, for example, we are doing single, double, and triple oizuki. So oizuki, the chasing punch, but we apply it, so it's not kata style, it's bang, bang, bang. If you're going to say it's more kumite based, those ones, or against a focus pad, or against kick shield, or against a bag, or makiwara. We've got 3 of those. So that is the first part of the lesson plan, and the second part is tonight we're doing naifanchi and koshoken kata. So that's pretty much the lesson plan, and it's up to the instructor to figure out what to do with that naifanchi and koshoken. So the kata. So they might just go again and again and again if there's a grading coming up and you need to work on that, or they might pull apart the kata and work on that on a certain section and that sort of thing. So it's really not much different for that day. And again, we split the days up. So yesterday we did joint locks, and then the day before that we did some 2-person drills. So then you can apply those 2-person drills for kata as well. You can incorporate those into kata, but there's something a little bit more exciting for the adults than boring old kata. But some people love it. Some people love
definitely, yeah.
repetitive kata-ness, and that's a very Japanese mindset of again and 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 again.
Yep, that repetition. Ken, what are your thoughts on both of the lesson plans from Shane and myself?
I thought it was interesting, Shane, you guys aren't doing a rotating syllabus. Because I think that's
you guys are you're doing a weekly rotating syllabus.
True.
Yeah.
It is rotating.
Yeah, it is actually. Yeah. It's a different version. I've never heard of your version before. Yeah. It's good. I like it.
Yeah. So it is a rotating syllabus, I suppose, but not in the traditional style rotating syllabus. Yeah.
I think it's interesting
because we have.
Oh no, sorry. If you go for a chain.
Yes, because we have limited time. The classes are 45 minutes to an hour. It's limited time. If I had 2 hours, if I had the kids for 2 hours at a time, man, it would be awesome. From 4 p.m. to 6 p.m., for example, kids for 2 hours, it'd be a lot better. But they don't want to do that. There's a big difference between karate being a hobby and karate being, so Japan, for example, with the kids karate, they are there for 2 hours, and something is expected of them. And I was actually talking to somebody yesterday about the differences between Japanese kids and Western kids, and it's a different culture. So for you guys, AFL is Victoria, whereas up in Brizzy, we play the correct game, which is rugby league. So if you go to a rugby league training session, those kids are training hard because it's part of their culture. You know, the parents are there expecting them to train hard, tackle hard, run hard because they've got a game, and they could make money going forward. Whereas in Japan, part of the culture is martial arts, you know, karate or kendo or judo. So it's expected that the kids do something there, and so there's a level of expectation, and how hard you train is very different. In Western culture, it's a hobby. It's a hobby, same as going swimming or playing soccer or whatever. It becomes a hobby, whereas in Japan, it's part of the culture. Okinawa is more relaxed, like a Western style, and Japan is a lot more military esque in that sort of instance. So yeah, it's different. And I think for kids we expect too much. We expect the kids to be like adults, and you can't teach kids the same as adults. You can't swear in front of kids. You probably shouldn't swear in front of the adults either, but
I saw a parent swear in front of their kid just yesterday.
So how you teach the kids and how you teach adults, you know, really different, really different.
Definitely.
And we don't have a lot of instructors who teach both kids and adults.
Really?
We have
Okay.
yeah.
We get our coaches doing all the classes. I always find if you can teach the kids, then when you teach the adults, it's going to be easier. And then if you can teach an adults class, it actually make it easier for you to teach the kids class because
Yep.
hopefully you can see the difference in the
Yep.
classes.
Well,
So then you're more purposeful in what you're doing.
I'm the only one who teaches both. So we have maybe 3 or 4 instructors for the kids, and then 3 or 4 instructors for the adults. Actually, probably more instructors for the adults.
So
Wow, there you go.
the question, Shane, would be so if you're teaching them both sets are doing different things. How about gradings? Do you grade them together or are they separate
No.
gradings?
Yeah, totally separate. Yeah. So with our, they might be on the same day. Like, oh man, Saturdays. So first class is at 8:30, which means I'm there at 8, and then so 8:30. So we run a family class where we have kids and adults training at the same time. So that means parents can train. So there's 2 instructors for the adults, 2 instructors for the kids. So they don't train together; they just train at the same time. So Mat 1 and Mat 2. So they're just doing their own thing. So we have 2 of those classes, 8:30 and 9:30. So you can't do both. You have to choose one or the other. And because the reason we have a second class is because the first class is so busy. So we have that, and then we have Kobudo, the weapons from 10:30 to 12, and then we will have a grading from kids beginners grading from 12 to 1:30, and then kids advanced grading from 1:45 to 3 o'clock, and then an adult grading from 3 till 5. And then after that, we'll have a drinks and snacks for the adults. So it's like as a socialization thing. With the kids socializing is easy. You just put a movie on and let's go. With adult socializing, you know, everybody's so busy. But so if we do the socializing after a grading, everybody hangs around. So I just shout soft drinks. No, I don't provide any alcoholic drinks. People bring their own, but I provide the snacks. So yeah, so they stay for an hour. So I'm there at the dojo from 8 till 6 some Saturdays. It's
Fighting the good fight.
It's a long day.
That work ethic. Bang, bang.
Yeah.
How do you find the energy like how many kids do you have, Shane?
I just won.
Oh, just one, yeah. So the same as me. So I imagine at the start when your child was quite young, you're pretty drained, and now you're saying he's 11. So now it's you know, you can kind of wash your hands. You're done with him, and let's get back to business.
Well, the best part is he can wipe his own bum. You know, like
Oof.
boom. When that happens, that's a total game changer.
Yeah.
So, but he's a black belt, a junior black belt, and he helps in the classes as well. So we have a junior leadership program, and the kids learn how to teach, and he does that. And he helps in the gradings as well with the little kids. And yeah, it's great. And I mean, he will come and hang out at the dojo all day as well. Just walk around like he owns a joint. Yeah, it's great because everybody knows who he is. And actually, in my emails I write to members, I write Cheyne and Leon. So
Wow. There you go.
no
like
no
that.
pressure. But
I like it.
and then but for our adult gradings, so I have about 300 members, and probably 125 are adults. So when we do a grading, we invite everybody. So everybody can do. It's like a big 2-hour class. So everyone, so we can have 30 or 40 adults, but maybe 15 of them are doing the grading. The other 15 are there for the training. So they are doing it's the same. So I have a run sheet for all my gradings, and it's the same every single time. So everything is written out. Anybody can turn up and say, okay, so left leg forward, reverse punch. This is what we're going to do. So it's all written out, very easy. Anybody can run the grading. So with the adults, so that way there's like 30, 40, 50 people there congratulating everybody, and it's an awesome vibe because then we have drinks after. So
That's pretty cool.
sorry.
When we were back in our old club, I remember people could jump into gradings, like left, right, and center. It didn't really matter. At Twins, for us, it's just a mat space. Like, we haven't got a big mat. I love that idea. I think that would be awesome for people to. It's almost like a pre-grading form, or like, it's like just getting that training
Yeah.
under grading conditions. I love
Yeah,
that idea.
100%. Yeah.
Maybe perhaps, Lance, if we have smaller gradings, we can just send the email out, hey, the grading's small. If any of you guys want to jump in just to get the training in, I think it's a great idea, which I haven't really
You mean
thought about.
I don't do that for kids, only for adults.
Only for adults, yeah.
Yeah, kids bring parents. Adults don't bring anybody. So there's no vibe, right?
Yeah.
So there's no vibe. Adults don't bring their next door neighbor Johnny to come and watch, all right? So, and predominantly our adults are 35 years and older. So they've got, little kids or kids, wives at home looking after the kids, husbands at home doing a job and that sort of thing. And with the kids, I don't need any more people in the building. So that's why we separate the beginners and the intermediates and advanced, because the beginners, you're always going to have a lot of beginners, white belt to orange belt. And then because that's just, after 6 months or a year, they quit. And then, so you separate that way. And I did that because of COVID originally. And then it just worked out better because we could only have a certain amount of people in after COVID. And then, so it works out great. Although it is a longer process. Oh, man, it is long. But if you pick the run sheet up, it's easy. And with the parents, we don't allow parents inside. Parents have to sit outside during classes. So we don't allow parents inside to watch. We do on their first class, but after that, they must wait outside. So it's a good chance for the parents to be able to come inside and watch how their kids have progressed. And that way I can talk to the parents. I'm throwing out jokes that the kids don't understand. And so it's all for the parents.
Shane, so just to be clear, the adults can stay inside the building. You're not saying outside the building?
outside the dojo.
What, like straight up, like literally like the like the dad has to wait in the car?
No. So we have glass windows.
Okay, yeah.
Yeah, so they can't stay in the foyer either. They're outside. Because the way that our dojo is, it's high ceiling, and there's no wall in between. If there was a wall between where we are, our training area, like a big thick wall, yes, I would allow parents to stay inside. It's just purely because phones ring, little kids are eating a packet of chips, so goes everywhere. Little Johnny brings his iPad, that sort of stuff. So I just separate the noise. And, little Johnny doesn't want dad to watch. And if dad's watching, little Johnny misbehaves. And then little Jack wants dad to watch. Little Jack looks over, dad's on his phone, he gets upset. So I just eliminate all of that by kicking the parents outside. And so because of that, there's nowhere else for the kids to focus, just on the training. Well,
Wow.
more on the training than before.
That's something different, eh, Lance? Yeah.
Oh yeah, definitely. It would, I guess, if you got a helicopter parent, I guess they wouldn't join your school, which might be a good thing, to be honest.
Yeah, so that's why I allow them the first time, just to make sure that like they can see, what we're doing is legitimate, and then I talk to them about it before they come. I tell them this is what we do, and I've had one parent say, well, if I can't stay and watch, and I say, well, you can, you just look through here, and then it eliminates, parents walking out to the mat. Johnny, don't do that, and stuff like that. Like, that's my job, not your job. Your job is to relax, right? So, and so we've had one parent in, I don't know how many years, a long time. So yeah, it's a lot better, and it also takes a lot of stress off the instructors that you're not being helicoptered. And like, we have cameras, it's always recording just in case something happens. A kid. Well, last week, one kid picked the other kid up and drove him into the ground because they're doing jiu-jitsu, and I picked the kid up and I thought he dislocated his elbow. So his dad was out there, and his dad's cool as, just like, oh yeah. So I've looked, and his elbow is in the wrong position. I'm like, holy shit. And so I walked out, and dad's like, oh yeah, no, he's just really hyper flexible. I'm like, oh, thank God. So he's like, hey, no, he's sweet. So some parents just drop the kids off and go. Generally, with the intermediate and advanced, they drop the kids off and go, and then pick them up at the end of the class.
Very
So
interesting.
What's
Very
up?
interesting. I guess it has, like, you can have a lot more mats at your club because you don't have to have that foyer, that big foyer that we have here, Lance. You can just mat that thing up.
We might have the biggest foyer in Victoria.
Well, I had that. I had a big foyer, and I'm like, if I want more members, so I look at every mat as 2 feet as feet, right? So I got rid of the foyer, got rid of the chairs, and now we have a small waiting area where you walk in, and so kids can wait for the next class, but parents aren't allowed. So it's different. And I mean, if I had my own building, yeah, I would put a big wall, and I'd have big windows, and I'd have a door. So there's a separate between the kids and the adults, and the windows would be 2-way. So kids can't see in. Parents can see out, but kids can't see in.
Wow. That's different. I like it.
It's awesome. It's like it's kind of refreshing because you get a lot of businesses are really catering towards parents.
Yep.
Trying to keep everyone happy, keep it all PC, which is good. Like, you need that as a society, but you're kind of, is why I'm always very inspired by you, always thinking about the why, and always trying to progress things or go back to the old ways, which in a way is kind of progressing things today. So that's awesome, Cheyne.
Yeah, I think I just want to do things that are different. So in my dojo, I don't want stuff on the wall. We just have basic white walls. So making it nice and clean, easy. I don't want my dojo to smell like a 1987 dojo, right? Like, I don't want it smelling like feet. So we have air fresheners. We have a cleaner all the time. So I don't clean the dojo. I have a cleaner because there's more motivation for me to pay that cleaner than for me to clean it. I'm I've got to make more money to pay for the cleaner. And so I wanted it to be more professional. And the foyer, like, I sell water and Pocari Sweat. That's it, because it's
I
Japanese.
love Pocari Sweat. Love
Yeah,
it.
man. We sell a lot. I don't sell Powerade or Gatorade because it's not Japanese, and I sell Haichu because it's Japanese. So, and I only provide Japanese Tokaido stuff. It's more expensive, more premium, but it's Japanese. So just trying to be a little bit more authentic in that way, even though karate is from Okinawa, but whatever. I'm not going to supply Shureido because that's frigging more expensive. So, yeah. So just trying to do something different to others.
Yeah, that's probably why you're so successful, Cheyne. Let's wrap it there. So that's been an awesome episode. So guys, if you enjoyed that, let us know. Hit us up on the Instagram, and we'll see you on the next one. Oos.
See you guys.